The Stillwater Planning Commission meeting of August 5th will now come to order. It will be the process this evening to call for items on the agenda. The commission will hear from staff first, then the applicant and/or their representative. And then when we get to the public hearing section, we will open the public hearing and hear from those first in favor and then those in opposition of the request. When you come to the podium, please clearly state your name and address for the record. And then before closing the public hearing, both staff, the applicant and/or their representative will be provided an opportunity to respond, to provide additional information and answer questions. After all interested parties have spoken, the public hearing will then be closed, and we will hear closing remarks and alternatives from staff. We will start with general orders this evening. We have a final plat, and we will hear from staff.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Chair, Commissioners. Tonight we have the final plat for Park Valley Section 3, which is located at 1823 West 26th Avenue, referred to as Sub 2511. Here's the aerial view where you can see the property outlined in pink. It's east of Western and south of 26th. The outlined blue right below this is the final plat, which is Section 1 of Park Valley. Here's the zoning map where you can see this property and the surrounding properties zoned RSS, or small lot single family residential. Here's the Park Valley sections. So the section that we're looking at tonight is in gray, which is Section 3. To the south of that is those lots we spoke about a second ago, Section 1, and to the east of that is Section 2, which is in the process of finishing up some public improvements before we'll be moving forward with final plat, which would come back before you guys as well. Here's the final plat that we're approving tonight, which is 77, or hearing tonight, which is 77 residential lots, 3 outlots, and approximately 15 acres. I'm open to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions from commissioners?
So being a general orders, we don't need to call for the applicant, right? Correct.
So as this is general orders, we don't need to call for anyone else. Then there's no public hearing with this particular item. So commissioners, anyone thinking of a... If you have questions, you can have questions to staff, but...
Yep, I apologize. That slide shouldn't have been in there.
Okay. Anyone entertaining a motion?
If you would like, I could do some staff findings.
Oh, that would be good. Okay, yes. Sorry,
ma'am.
yeah, you're right. That slide's not there, so I missed my prompt. There we go.
Of course. So we have staff findings. The proposed final plat meets the subdivision and zoning requirements. The comprehensive plan recommends low-density uses at this location. The proposed density is within the RSS zoning requirements. The alternatives we have for you tonight are to accept, reject, or table the proposal. Staff recommends alternative 1, which is to accept findings and approve the proposed final plat as presented.
I'd make a motion to accept the findings and approve the proposed final plat as presented.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. We shall now vote. Motion passes 5-0. We'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is public hearings, and this is for a preliminary plat, and we shall hear from staff first.
Yes, ma'am. So tonight we have a public hearing for a preliminary plat, which is Richmond Road and Highway 177 addition, located approximately at 1300 East Richmond Road, referred to as Sub 2409. Here's the aerial view where you can see the property again outlined in pink. This property is about a half mile east of Perkins. It's south of Richmond and west of Jardeau, and then on the south side it kind of curves following that railroad track. Here's the zoning map where you can see the property zoned IG, or general industrial, along with the uses to the west, south, and east. To the north, that eastern section is outside of city limits, just to the north of this property, and on the west it abuts agriculture to the north. Here's the preliminary plat where you can see lots 1, 7, and 2, which are being platted tonight. The portions to the west are referred to as unplatted, which are proposed to be platted at a future date. And I'm open to answer any questions if you have any.
Yes, is this the location for the data centers, or what is?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff? Thank you. So at this time, we would invite the applicant to come forward.
Joe Parks with Olson Engineering.
Okay. Have any questions of the applicant?
So who's going to be responsible for the road into the plat, the data centers? Is there one that exists right now?
The road to the,
Into,
yeah, the client is. They're doing a Richmond Road improvement that will go to the entry of the facility.
what? I'm sorry, I didn't
They
hear
will-
you clearly.
They're redoing Richmond Road and to the entrance of the site, which will be off of Richmond Road.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of the applicant? Thank you. So at this time, we will open the public hearing and ask if there's anyone in the audience in favor to please come forward. Seeing no one in favor, I did have we had an online request. Is there a Crystal Hayes here to speak? Yes, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Crystal Hayes, Circle A Trench, Post Office Box 324. I'm giving my mailing address, privacy and security reasons. I'm probably not a stranger to this commission. Have I spoke to any of you guys before on this? Okay, so no stranger. My first question, though, really fast is, he said it was 1,300, and all of my notices say 1,500, so I don't know if that's the problem or not.
15.
When we first got notice, we didn't get the second page to everything, so we finally got the second page. The map is not correct. I don't know who's responsible for the map, but I don't own clear down to Jardo Road. My name is clearly on here. The Winslows have that, and they may want to speak to that, so that's not right. My questions are, if these 3 lots are being platted, that's not within the incentive district of number 1 only. I couldn't hear him. He said something about plots 1, 2, and 7. I didn't hear that right. So if somebody, is that what he said? You put number 7 on there? According
Yes,
to
1,
this?
2, and 7.
Okay,
Preliminary plots for lots 1, 2, and 7.
Okay, will absolutely vehemently oppose number 7. That is my driveway. I, of all people, have suffered the most out there. I don't sit on my front porch with my mouth open anymore because depending on how the wind blows. I am all for technology, not a problem. I have had 2, Felipe with Manhattan and Nick with the city street are absolutely accommodating to me, will absolutely call me just to make sure everything's going okay. That's because near head-on collisions, my little tiny infrastructure, my phone, my internet service, just depends on who's driving that day, if the roads are wet. But they have been extremely accommodating, and so that we can make Richmond coming off of Perkins actual 2-lane area. I don't recommend anybody going down there at night. Now the school lights are back on in the parking. I'm kind of squished between the public school system with their new bus barn. I will take the school bus barn more than any humongous undertaking, because they're here in Stillwater and they know. I'm just asking to be fair and play by the rules. That's all. I don't think I've asked for anything other than that. I feel as if there is probably, for good reason, a lack of, I don't know my time limit, ongoing information, which is, fine, that's okay. Now, I do have a problem with the drones. They're supposed to stay on their side. They don't allow drone flying. But I would be gladly to use my phone if anybody wants to come look at their drones, and I'm in my little nightgown, whatever, okay? So anyway, I just want to be fair. I have no problems if those are going to be in the #1 incentive district. That was the #1 incentive district that we were promised would only be approved. We've had a big problem with the city coming forward and saying, it's only going to be on the northeast corner, don't worry, but yet they've raped and scraped everything, from here to here. A lot of things we have to find out our own, Genie's going to have to put a substation somewhere out there. Don't mess with my driveway. Don't mess with my driveway. I'm begging you, don't mess with me having to come out and continually fighting, making sure I'm not going to get run over, making sure I don't have to move people out of my way at night in my gate, picking up Taco Bell to whatever. I was used to that kind of stuff. But now you're talking major traffic. There's supposed to be a 20 or 25 mile an hour speed zone on there. When they first started, Felipe was so good. In fact, he would hold up a stop sign for everyone. They would tell everyone, please drive 20 miles an hour. Those truck drivers get paid by the load, They're going to make as much as they can. 2 trucks loaded, starts with the dip in the road. Don't drive there at night unless you drive very slowly. I could talk forever. The last thing I want to do is invite every single one of you guys to come out to my house. Come out there, please. Come out there and see what we have. I have made a personal promise to all of my neighbors in Tower Park that I will never do what the city and the data center has done to me. Never. Also, I believe it's the Electric de France, I think they call it Electric de France, or whatever. I'm not selling out to the French my land for their electric or solar farms or anything like that. So I'm there to stay and spread my ashes on top of Bootleg Hill. That's what that hill's called, among everybody else out there. Any questions for me? Because I would seriously love for you guys to come out there. Anything?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience this evening that would like to speak in opposition of this item?
No opposition, but a point of order.
If you'd come to the microphone, please. State your name and address for the record.
I'm David Winslow, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 2221 East 25th Street. My wife Kathleen is with me here. We want to address that in the diagram of the ground to be covered by the data center across the street here on Richmond Road, you have the parties Hayes and Shedrick owning that last quarter. That's always been Darlow property since even before statehood, and my wife and I now have a trust on that property right there where the corner of Jardot and Richmond come together. That quarter belongs to our trust, not the Shedricks. You see that? It's awful little print here. And so, but it says Hayes Shedrick zoning. But that particular area there is Darlow, Winslow. Just so that, when the notices go out, they come to the right place and you all know who owns that property. Do everybody see what I'm seeing? All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So a correction will be made, I assume, Mr. Peters.
Property owner letters should have gone out based on the Payne County Assessor's record of property. I believe this is the map you guys are referring to. This is just from the engineers.
All right. Well, I noticed the date of Mr. Morgan, your surveyor, and I would have thought that they would have had that name corrected up there. Because that's where we pay our taxes. Thank you
So,
very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Is there anyone else in the audience this evening that would like to come forward and speak in opposition? So is there anyone else? I saw a hand in the back of the room. Okay, would you like to speak this evening? Okay. All right, so going once, going twice. All right. So we'll take this opportunity to allow the applicant to come forward and maybe address some of the names that seem to be different than what's been brought up this evening. Either way. Yes, Mr. Barth, if you'd like to come forward, that would be fine.
Well, I don't mean to trump Chip here, and he can certainly come up and address some of the things. Anyway, David Barth, Development Services Director, I thought I might be able to help out with some of the concerns raised by Ms. Hayes and maybe answer some of her questions. And certainly we will get the property owner, we'll get the applicant to correct the property ownership that's on the surrounding part of the requirements is to show the adjacent property owners, and so that just looks like a mistake made by the applicant, so we'll get them to fix that. Lot 7 is not within the tax incentive district. Lot 7 will house the OG&E substation. Lots 1 and 2 are part, they match exactly tax incentive districts 1 and 2 that were, there were 6 incentive districts that were I don't know what the word is, approved, adopted approximately a year ago. And so that these lots 1 and 2 that you see on this preliminary plat are tax incentive districts 1 and 2. And then lot 7 is not a part of that. We're not, we didn't have a tax incentive district for a utility that's going to sell electric to the data centers. And then the remainder of this area is unplatted. I just wanted to kind of build on what Chip was saying based on Mr. Shanahan's, your questions about the access into the development. So the applicant is repaving Richmond Road from Perkins over to Jardot. Right now it's not improved, or it's somewhat improved closer to Perkins and then not really improved. So it will be a new, I believe it's a concrete road all the way from Perkins to Jardot. They will have private streets with a very secure entrance to their facilities out at Richmond. Another question that came up, which I appreciate Ms. Hayes bringing this up, was maybe a discrepancy on the address. Forever, we've known this project address to be 1300 East Airport Road because the project touches Airport Road and Richmond Road. But now that we're further along into the process and they're actually going to, am I getting timed?
You get an extension, it's okay.
Perfect. Their access is actually coming from Richmond Road into their facility, and that will be the primary access. And so we've identified that now, or addressed it as 1500 East Richmond Road. So I apologize for any confusion there, but the address of the facility will be 1500 East Richmond Road. And so as far as the individual lots and that sort of thing, those addresses will be later. I can't remember if there was other questions that you all had. Oh, I did want to mention, so she mentioned, just the fact that, here we are talking about a plat, lots 1, 2, and 7, but yet you can drive out there and see that a lot more has been disturbed than lots 1, 2, and 7. So the applicant has submitted to us a mass grading plan for the entire 300 plus acres that they have out there. And so they have been working to build all of the detention facilities, to build building pads, to build a temporary construction facility that's going to be accessed off of Perkins Road, south of the entrance into the Parkview Estates addition. There'll be a turn lane there. There'll be, a road that goes into a number of offices that will be temporary while these data center facilities are being built. And so to accomplish all of that and to prepare for all of that, they've submitted to us a drainage study for the entire area and an earth change permit and a mass grading plan that is preparing the entire site for what they're doing. So that's why there are no buildings right now planned or even permitted, or we haven't received plans for anything out by Perkins Road or at the northwest corner of this development. It's still all going to be over towards the east. And if there's other questions that I didn't answer, certainly Chip can come up and answer those. But
I think another question I would have from what Ms. Hayes brought up would be drones. Do we have any type of requirements or restrictions on drone flying within the city limits?
I think the only requirements that we have are the requirements that the FAA would have as far as proximity to the airport, and the FAA has certain limits on how high you can fly a drone. I don't believe there's anything that says you can't fly a drone over somebody else's property. Like for example, realtors are using drones all the time, and for them to get a picture of the backyard of a house, they have to fly over the house behind them. And in fact, my neighbor, this happened just last week with my neighbor saying, hey, there was a drone over our house. And I said, well, that's because 2 doors down from us, the house is now for sale. And so, I think that's what they're doing. If there are drones out there above her property, they're probably taking pictures of their construction progress to send back to their, management. I don't believe they would have any interest in taking photos of anyone else's property. But they typically fly over other properties to get the photos they need.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. And I think the other thing would be, Ms. Hayes also mentioned a couple of times about her driveway. Is her driveway being disturbed other than the road work?
I am not aware of any. Obviously, her driveway will tie into Richmond Road, so there will be some connection. And I've not looked at that. I know we've approved the plans for Richmond Road, but I don't know where her, if we are, and I don't think we're really widening it. Some of it's curb and gutter, and some of it's an open section where there's just right-of-way ditches with culverts. So I'm not sure if they're, typically when someone's building a new road, they have to touch the approach. And so that approach is either being reconstructed or it's being tied into. I don't remember the exact plans. Anytime that we're doing that with a capital project, we're basically telling that property owner that it's going to be as good or better, and usually it's brand new. We're having to touch that approach to do earthwork for grading that right-of-way. So the part of her driveway that's within the right-of-way would be, the part that somebody would be working on. And maybe there may only be statutory right-of-way there. Her property line may go to the center line, I'm not sure, which would be 33 feet from the center line of Richmond to the north, that we would be able to, work on her approach, and certainly, or the applicant would be working on her approach. So hopefully she's going to, have a better access into her property from this. And also, obviously, Richmond Road's going to be a much better road than it is now. Okay. After the applicant rebuilds it.
And then would she, as well as any other drives that are along there, would they receive notice prior to any work being done?
Yes, yeah, it's our practice that you can't restrict someone access to their property, and so if there's going to be work, and you they have to provide adequate notice and say, hey, we need to work here in front of your driveway, and work with that, property owner through that process.
All right. I think those are all the questions that I had.
Okay.
Any others? Thank you.
No problem.
So at this time, we would close the public hearing and would ask for staff to present findings and alternatives.
Yes, ma'am. Staff's findings are the proposed preliminary plat meets the subdivision and zoning requirements. The comprehensive plan recommends industrial uses at this location. The proposed density is in alignment with the industrial general zoning requirements. The alternatives are to accept findings and approve the proposed preliminary plat as presented, to approve the proposed preliminary plat with conditions, to reject the findings and deny the plat, or to table the request. Staff recommends alternative number 1, which is to accept findings and approve the proposed preliminary plat as presented.
Thank you.
I'd make a motion to accept the findings and approve the proposed preliminary plat as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We shall now vote. Motion passes 5-0. The next item on the agenda are the meeting summaries for review and possible action. We'll do these separately. The first one would be for the meeting minutes for June 24th.
I move we approve as presented.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We shall now vote. Motion passes 4 with 1 abstain. The next one would be the regular meeting minutes of July 8th.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. We shall now vote. Motion passes with 4 yes and 1 abstain. The next one would be the meeting minutes of July 15th.
Move to approve.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. We shall now vote. Motion passes 4 yes, 1 abstain. The next item on the agenda are miscellaneous items from staff, planning commissions, or the city attorney for discussion and possible action. The one item we do have listed is that the next regular meeting is August 19th. Do we have anything else from staff? No? No? Okay, very good. Last item on the agenda is adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
A second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We shall now vote. Motion passes 5-0. We are now adjourned.